Good morning. Happy Thursday, y'all. Welcome to another Everyday Girl Chit Chat where we talk about everyday girl things, okay? And today, y'all, I had it. I got written up at work off of attendance, and this whole idea of like working as a single mom. So I'm a single mom. I have two boys, and although I'm in a relationship, we don't live together. I take care of my kids financially, physically. They're with me full time. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only working mama that is tired of the system and how the system is set up. I honestly feel like 9 to 5s are not for single moms. It's almost like you have to choose. It's like you're always trying to find a balance, trying to figure out what works, what can work, how can this work. And the truth of the matter is, if you don't have a community, if you don't have a support system, it's stressful. It's stressful. When you're doing things like all by yourself and you don't have someone that you can tap in, and it doesn't even have to be the child's father. I'm talking about family, friends, all the things, And I went from being someone who would babysit other people's kids. You could call me and be like, hey, can I drop such and such off or whatever? And I'll be like, yeah, as long as I'm not working, drop them off. I don't say that I could have, or maybe I could have, and maybe I'm just not the type of person who likes to ask for help or like to leave my kids certain places, just because I've had bad experiences. And as a mama bear, I'm just like protective over my kids, and I just don't play no more. I don't trust nobody. I don't care who you are. But can we talk about the system? Because regular work hours most commonly are either 9 to 6 or I want to say 8 to 5. Rarely you'll get those 7 to about 4:30, and then you have those night shifts. But more common, you'll see the 9 to 5s, right? And so late, I want to say mid last year, I was just like going through the motions. And so I was like, okay, I'm finally going to sit down with my boss. I'm going to ask her if I could change my schedule from 8:30 to about 5:30. This only gives me 30 minutes to get to work after I drop my son off, and 30 minutes to get to him after school in this good old LA traffic. And if you know LA traffic, baby, what, 30 minutes? Girl, please, you're going to be 10, 15 minutes late every day. So I had just been like, I feel like that's reasonable, because usually around 5:30 I'm shutting things down already. I'm just getting ready for the next day. After that, most of the reports would have went out. I have helped everybody that I could help for the day, all the things, and then I'm like 8:30, because it gives me a little time in the morning to prep for the day, get things ready, all that stuff. So I felt like it wouldn't be detrimental, or it wouldn't have any like negative impacts on operations. Thought it was reasonable. She helped me. She said sure. So I did that for most of last year. And then I got injured, went out on leave for a couple of weeks. I want to say probably 2 months. I said a couple of weeks like it was just 2 or 3. Honey, it was like 2 months. But baby, I had to get back to work. So I'll go back to work. Shortly after I get back to work, I not only got more responsibilities given to me, but also the schedule that I had requested was no longer something that they could uphold or offer me. Also, just in passing conversations, there was talks about me being paid at the highest and probably won't get a raise, and how the business was doing. And in my head, I'm like, this is not the way I would have want to come back from leave, with no hope in sight of a flexible schedule. No going back, no, not as if we had Monday through Fridays, but it was just like no hopes of Monday through Fridays, no hopes of holding this schedule so that I could also have time to drop off and pick up my kids. It was like, no. And I think it switched something in my head. I realized that I have been in survival mode for years, because this has always been a pain point for me as a single mom. I thank God that I'm blessed that no matter where I ended up as far as my career or the job that I've taken, there's always been opportunity for growth for me. And I would quickly I would quickly climb up and get to closest to the highest paid I could get within a year. So I feel absolutely blessed within that. And that's a whole nother video about financial intelligence and spending your money and doing the right thing. But it was like a gut punch. You know what I mean? It was like a real gut punch. And I don't know if you've ever felt like this, where it's like something happens and it sets off this awakening for you, if you will, of you just realizing the type of situation you're in or what you have gone through in the past, and you sit there in that moment and you realize, like, whoa, whoa, I have been literally, from the first time I became a single mom, been trying to figure out a balance between being a mother, and not just being a mother, but being present and being available mother. And also trying to, build this career for myself. It has always been an issue. Always. And I used to sit and think, if I had this job, if I got paid this much, if I this, if I that, then no, honey, no. As long as I have held a 9-to-5 job, I have had the stress of feeling like I'm choosing. Either I'm choosing work over my kids, or, I'm choosing my kids over work, and either one of them at any moment is going to have a nervous breakdown. Either I'm going to be sitting with my boss and they're going to be asking me, we just want to know if you really want this job because we love you here, we want to work with you, but it seems like your attendance and your time, or it's my kids, that's like, Mom, like, are you gonna be off today, or are you gonna come home early? Are you gonna be working late? And you seeing them missing out, almost like you're taking away their childhood because you are the present parent. I'm not saying that their fathers aren't there. They're there, but they're not consistently there. They're not showing up like I would have hoped that they were. Because if they were, I feel like I would a little, take the cheat off a little bit, I might be able to work with that, but it's more on me. And so I'm always playing like I'm in a tennis match. Like, in this season, I'm more so in work and not with my kids. In this season, I'm really on my kids and not so at work. And with the kids going back to school, given the fact that I've gotten written up right before summer break for attendance, them going back to school gives me anxiety. And it's not the fact that I'm so excited. I feel like as a mother, I'm in the most exciting time that I could be in as a mother. And I want to be there, and I want to be present, and I want to be in it, actively. My oldest is starting his junior year in high school. My youngest is starting in 3rd grade, which I feel like is a very, 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 very important grade in elementary. And I want to be present and active. I can't, though, because of my work schedule, and then just trying to stay afloat, trying to make sure that they get to school on time and I get to work on time. And then while I'm at work, the whole time I'm thinking, everything is going through my head like about after school pickups. I got it to the point where I'm in an area where now my son can basically ride his scooter to school. He's 2 blocks away from school. Love it. Works for me. He's 16. He likes to be independent now. He wants to do things. He wants to walk with his friends. He wants to go to the park. He wants to do this, that. So it works for me. I feel less guilty because this is something that he wants to do. But the youngest one, he's 8. When they're 8, they want to show you things. They want you to be a part of things. They want you to show up to every school performance. They want you to be a part of every, extracurricular activity with the school. When they offer volunteer, they want you to be there and volunteer. When they ask for chaperones, the kids want their parents to chaperone. And if you don't, it's like you letting them down, okay? And I have a kid that's very verbal. My son is so verbal, and baby, he will tell you, Mom, so you didn't go to the last 2 field trips. Do you think you can go to this one? I know, you have to work, and you're probably not going to be able to go. And it's like, dang, now I got to make sure I go. You know what I mean? And that light in his face when I actually am involved in there, it makes me go back to work and almost feel like a little resentment towards it, you know what I mean? And I kind of overheard, my boss, as she's stating, like she's, talking about the reason for my attendance or whatever to her boss. And just in conversation, it was said that this is business. This is business. So my livelihood, the way that I'm sorry, I'm about to get emotional. The way that I take care of my kids is in jeopardy because I'm taking care of my kids. And it is just the reality of working parents and how the system is set up for you to almost fail if you don't have a support system. It almost forces you to think outside of the box on how you can create options for yourself. But it also requires, if you will, a certain type of discipline so that can happen. And I realized I don't have that discipline. I'm just going to be so for real. I would love to use my off time and spend that towards building something that would allow me to have more flexibility, whether it's something of work that I'm doing on my own or working for someone with a more flexible schedule that cares about your family life, because I can't fault these people. It's their business. It's not my business. But the truth of the matter is, I am a mother. I am a single parent, and I do need a flexible schedule. And although I like what I do, I truly do, I also have realized that I can't do it. It's just that simple. The most peace that I have felt was when I was out on leave and I would wake up. And there's the time period. I don't know if you've ever been out of work and you just taking your kids to school and you thought that you would have all the time in the world while they're at school, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna clean the house, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then when you actually get that time where you've dropped your kids off, it's like, what do I do? I'm not going to work, so what do I do? I don't know if you've ever felt that, but the time goes by quick. So I would drop them off, go pick them up. I would be home with them. And there was just a peace of mind knowing that I was present. And this could be my life. But I also realized that I also do like to work. I want to work. Like, I don't want to just sit around and do nothing. I want to be a working mother. How the hell do you put those two together? How do you put those two together? I don't know if you guys heard or saw the interview with Emma Grede where she spoke about remote working and how there was this big conversation going around about people working remote and how in office is better, you get more visibility. I do agree with that in a sense, because I've been in office and I realized that proximity, who you know, how you talk to them, the relationships you build can lead to promotion. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't. It does. Okay. When you make relationships with the right people who are in the right rooms and can vouch for you in those rooms. But I've never worked fully remote and had the experience of what that looks like in a remote setting. But there was this big conversation around it. And I feel like if more people were positive about that aspect, and the fact that there's been so many studies that show business growth, that show more productivity. Hold on, honey. I'm gonna call him back. My boo was calling me. He always calls me in the morning as I'm getting ready. He be trying to motivate your girl. He know what I'm going through, and he be trying to like, you got this, you above this. Love him for that. But they shown that it doesn't hurt the business when people are working remote. So the fact that more people aren't open about it, it sucks, because if you want to be in a certain industry and that industry kind of looks down on remote work, what can you do? So now it's like, what options do I have for myself? And it comes down to this, okay? Sometimes you got to realize when you have to work on the skills that you have to open doors, to create more options for yourself, especially when you're a working parent. And when you get the little inkling in your head that some stuff is about to go down as a single parent, it is stressful. And that is exactly how I feel, because I had this inkling as soon as I had that conversation, as soon as I came back and I was given more responsibilities with less support. As soon as the schedule that I asked for before that had been working very good for me was taken away, as soon as I got written up for attendance, I already knew I was probably going to be the next person that was let go. And they were probably going to find the perfect reason to let me go. And now I'm like, hey, if they let me go, will I even get a severance? So now I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm also looking at the options that I have, and I don't really like the options that I have. It doesn't really speak to the future. I want to be an active and present mother, but I also still want to have a job. I would like to work a very flexible schedule. Does not even have to be remote. It could be hybrid. But the fact that I have to sit here and make a choice. And people are like, oh, you know, you have to find work-life, but what work-life balance? Does anybody have work-life balance? What does that look like? And what do you do? What industry, what field, what line of work do you do where you have work-life balance? I don't know if it does truly exist, but I know that there are better situations than the one I'm in now. There are better schedules out there. I know it because a handful of people that I know personally work remote. And baby, I feel like it's just time for me to move in that direction. So that was my little rant, y'all. How do you feel if you are a working parent and you don't even if you're a 2-parent household, like, what do y'all be doing? How do y'all work together? When I was with my kid's father, it was easier because we would flip-flop, we would rotate. So it would be like, maybe we would just make up a schedule that worked, and it worked. And there was no guilt behind me being at work because I knew that they were still being taken care of, and not by a family member or whatever, but by their father. And I was cool with that because it's like, somebody's home, you know, somebody is present. It might not be me all the time, but granted, you know. So I don't know, y'all. And another thing is, when you work such a demanding job, and I'm gonna tell y'all some little tea about this recruiter that called me the other day and had the nerve to give me, I'm gonna tell y'all what he said. But first off, job searching while you're a single parent, working a crazy schedule, what? How you make time for that? How the heck do you actually make time for that? I don't know how you make time for that. I really don't know. I really don't know how you make time for that. I've been trying, and I literally be falling asleep while I'm filling out job applications. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. Come on. And so I was like, I need to find recruiters that can bring me jobs, that can plug me, give me interviews, all this type of stuff. My sister gave me tea, and she told me how to really look for the right recruiters. But this one guy called me that I had been talking to months ago, and he goes, oh, this new opportunity. I look back because I thought the kids was coming in, and I gotta go in a minute because I gotta get ready for work. We gotta get ready to get out of here. But he goes, talking about this opportunity, talking about this job, and then he mentions that the boss is very demanding, very fast paced. He likes people to be quick. He doesn't like slow people. He likes, you know, he's a very demanding, so you have to be used to for him to be demanding. And I was like, you done said demanding a couple of times now. I'm cool on the demanding. You couldn't pay me enough to be working with somebody that's demanding. I'm so type B, so type. I'm so chill, honey. I don't like to be around people. Like, I don't mind being around people who have like that high energy, you know, type of personality at all. I don't mind it, but don't lead with that. Why is that what you're leading with? Why is it not, this guy, he's an entrepreneur, he's building his business, he's very passionate about what he does, and the type of personality that he feels that would contribute and be, you know, great to the team is this and that and that. Why are you leading with he's demanding? You trying to tell me something? Immediately, I'm not interested. Immediately, I'm not interested. Immediately, take me off the list. Immediately, don't give them my resume. Immediately, I don't think that I qualify. Bye. What? Are you kidding me? Who in their right mind would be like, yes, I'm so interested? Somebody desperate, you know? And do I want to be in a different environment, making a lot more money with a flexible? Yeah, of course I do, but not with a boss that's demanding. that defeats the purpose. I'm gonna be right back in the same situation where I gotta choose. You know? No, thank you. But anyway, y'all, that was my little rant, my little thoughts on being a single parent and working in a society where you freaking kids go to school from 7:30, 7:45, 8 o'clock to about 3 in the afternoon, and we working, but we are in the office longer than the kids are in school. You put them in the after school program, you still got to get there before the after school program, and don't be late, because you might get a late fee. Then you might get kicked out of the program for being late too many times, and then God forbid you pick them up early so that you're not late. I used to pick them up on my lunch break, you know, just to make sure I'm not late, and then it's like, well, if he's not coming throughout the whole, you know, after school program, then he cannot stay because you're showing us that you don't need us. I need you. Okay? I just need you to be a little bit more flexible, because the people at work don't want to be flexible. You know what I'm saying? Help your girl out, please. And let's not even talk about all of the things that you don't qualify for when you work it. I hate being a middle class working single mother. It sucks here. I hate it here. I don't like it here. Okay? I make too much money to qualify for any type of assistance, for any type of help, right? And I make too little bit of money to qualify to be in these type of positions, in these type of environments, in these type of areas. The middle class working mothers, where y'all at? Do y'all feel my pain? Do you feel it? It sucks here. It sucks here. Like, I literally have to figure out how to get out of this cycle, how to give myself peace, and like really reset my whole nervous system, because baby, the way I'm like so much so I don't even go anywhere anymore because I can't deal with it. Like, when people invite me to go here, when people invite me, birthday parties, you know, anniversaries, weddings, just out to get drinks or whatever, like, my nervous system is so bad, I cannot go anywhere. I can't. And I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this. Eventually I will. But I know it starts with flexible income. A different way to take care of my kids, where I don't have to think every day that I go to work that this might be my last day, that my job is in jeopardy if my kid gets sick and I gotta go. I gotta leave early, or if they wake up in the morning and we trying to get out and I'm trying to feed them medicine and it just ain't working, and I gotta make the decision and it's late already and I ain't give them enough time in advance for unexpected. Now I'm in trouble. God forbid I get sick, where I could barely move and I could barely get to my phone in time to say, hey, I'm not gonna be in. Because baby, when I get sick, my body is, baby, what? Move where? The kids be up in there fitting for themselves when I'm sick. My body be done. It's a different type of sick for me. So, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But mamas, y'all are not alone. I know I'm not alone, and I know that y'all are not alone, because I'm here and it's plenty of other of us out there. We just need to come together and unite and support each other. And you know, all the mamas out there figuring it out and found out how to get through it and how to get past it, give us some advice, okay? Give us some advice, please. Anyway, this is my little chit chat. I will see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. We are trying to grow our channel here. We are trying to make it so that more women can find my channel, and we could just come together, support each other, and continue to have these everyday girl chit chats about real ish that is going on, and give each other advice, support each other, even if it's just a girl, you got this in the comment section. All right, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.